Back in my days at the Texans flagship, during the years the Texans did not have a quarterback that I deemed worthy, which was pretty much every year until they got Deshaun Watson, we would spend all offseason looking at the potential options the Texans have. Earlier today, I talked about how, hey, if the Baltimore Ravens aren't 100% sold on Lamar Jackson, the Texans do have the kind of assets to potentially package and send to Baltimore to get Jackson. He's only 26. I still think that there's upside with him. He just needs a coach that actually can coach him up a little bit. I like Gerard Johnson. I'm very intrigued to see what he's going to do as the Texans quarterback coach going forward. But that doesn't seem like it's likely to happen because according to DJ Bien-Aimé from ESPN, covers the Texans here locally. Good dude. Very fast. Track star back in the day.
I was going to say, didn't he run track?
He ran track, and when we had our media combine with the Texans, he didn't bring his cleats. So foolishly, even though I had the number one time at the moment, which was only a 5:02, which I'm ashamed of, I gave him my cleats. And in my cleats, he still ran like a 4.8. And I'm not sure that we had the same size feet. He's very fast. Good dude. He reported that the Texans informed coaching candidates during their hiring process that they planned on using the number 2 overall pick on a quarterback. If you've been listening to this show on a daily basis, you know that a couple of days ago on the show, at some point last week, I was talking about how whoever the next quarterback of the Houston Texans is, I want the guy to have gone through adversity, kind of like Jalen Hurts, like Joe Burrow. I want a guy who has met it head on with decorum, mental toughness, insert fancy word, because that's what you need in a quarterback. You need a guy who is mentally tough. So I thought, here's what we'll do. The 3 consensus top prospects are Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud, and Will Levis. I'm not doing the Anthony Richardson thing. I watched Gator football. He has some flashy moments. I don't want that. I don't. I watched the Gators enough to not. And ask any Florida Gator fan, they'll tell you that Anthony Richardson is a lot. Like, that is extreme development. And I know Hendon Hooker also is someone that is a possibility, but I think he's like a 2nd or 3rd round pick based off of what I'm seeing right now. And again, I'm just reading like the notes that are next to him. We're just going to focus on the 3 top quarterbacks that the Texans could take with that 2nd overall pick. That's Young or Stroud or Levis. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to read off the adversity that these 3 quarterbacks have gone through like it's the dating game from back in the day, and we will determine which one has gone through the most adversity. Prospect number 1. He was born in Philadelphia. That's tough. He's born tough almost by default. He was a starting quarterback as a sophomore. He had a mediocre offensive line in front of him. Not really much of a running game during a season where he won the Heisman. Plus, he had to overcome a certain coordinator that we know very well. Wink, wink. Sure, he's had a deep wide receiver core his entire career with a bunch of first-round draft pick receivers, one of which may or may not be playing for the Houston Texans right now. But this man has been through a lot because guess what, guys? Prospect number 1 is a short king. That's adversity. Who among us hasn't felt at times like you're not important, like no one loves you because you're less than 6 feet tall? Officially, I'm 6 feet tall, so I don't relate to you, even if I'm 5'11 and a half. But anyone out there who is a short king, listen, guys, it's tough out there. You could be handsome, and a lady sees you next to a 6'5" person who has legitimately been hit in the face with a shovel, and they're probably going to pick the 6'5" person, even if his jaw is literally in his ear hole. That's what they do. It's tough to be a short king. So Bryce Young is prospect number 1. Prospect number 2. He went from being a 3-star recruit to the 3rd highest recruit during his time in high school. He was a starting quarterback as a redshirt freshman. He, too, has played with a deep wide receiver core, and he also is from a place that experiences 287 sunny days a year compared to the national average of 205. So he's not from as tough of a place as Philadelphia. But prospect number 2, I think, has the trump card on everybody. Prospect number 2's dad's been in jail since he's been in middle school. That's adversity. Prospect number 2 is CJ Stroud. If we're doing power ranking right now, Stroud's got the edge. Like, short king versus dad in jail.
The trauma power rankings.
Yeah. It's pretty clear who's been through.
I don't think there's. You know what? I won't say anything about prospect number 3, but I don't see how you match prospect number 2's.
He's won. He has won. Like, I don't even care what we look at with prospect number 3 yet.
Bryce Young is short and from Philly, so. Has he ever pulled out a switchblade and said, "I'm from Philly"?
Like the time that I was at a Syracuse-Penn State game and a Penn State fan did that to me. Not to my knowledge, Sean.
Okay.
Doesn't seem like something Bryce Young would do.
No, he seems too nice.
Prospect number 3 was born in Newton, Massachusetts. There's another name for that town that I will not share because it is actually racist and terrible. Newton, Massachusetts, though, is a very bougie place. I used to live there for a little bit of time. It's bougie AF. Like, it is cake eater central. He went to a high school called Xavier in Connecticut. You think Newton, Massachusetts is bougie? This guy went to a high school called Xavier in Connecticut, where, like, the median capita of every single city, gross annual income, is like $300,000. I'm exaggerating a little bit. Also, he transferred from a traditional powerhouse program to a lesser program. Good God, this guy's been through nothing in his life. Looking for shortcuts. I'm talking about Kentucky's Will Levis. Did you know he transferred from Penn State to Kentucky? And look, Kentucky's been better recently, but in a heads-up game between Penn State and Kentucky, I would think most of us would pick Penn State. I think a lot of that has to do with Penn State's history. But there you go. If we're going to power rank the adversity that these 3 quarterbacks have gone through, and we'll power rank everything, CJ Stroud has been through the most adversity. His dad's in jail. Bryce Young's been through the second most adversity. He's shortened from Philly. And I think Will Levis has been through less adversity than everyone listening right now. So, Will Levis, everybody. Take that, Jeremy Branham. I know you want Will Levis on
Just because he's tall.
Yeah.
Jeremy Pena is, Jeremy Pena. I'm literally looking at Jeremy Pena on your t-shirt. Jeremy Branham is the person at the bar that wants the person who's been hit in the head with the shovel. Although the guy who's been hit in the head with the shovel has been through more adversity than Will Levis.
Yes. Seriously. Everyone has been through more adversity than Will Levis.
If you're listening to this, you listening to this show right now is more adversity than Will Levis has ever been through.
Mm-hmm. From the twitch.tv/ESPN97.5 to further CJ Stroud. He's from Rancho Cucamonga. I guess Rancho Cucamonga is not like the bee's knees, even though it's sunny every single day. I was trying to throw something at CJ Stroud to bring the adversity level down a little bit. He runs away with this. Stroud's been through the most adversity of all these guys.
Although
Bryce Young just had to work with Bill O'Brien, and he's short.
Working with Bill O'Brien's pretty adverse.
Is that what's the most adverse thing that Bryce Young's been through? Working with Bill O'Brien, or
being 5'9",
being short. He's taller than 5'9".
I don't know. I've seen some pictures online.
There was a picture online of him with Mina Kimes. He does look to be taller than Mina Kimes. Mina Kimes is 5'8", so
that's
what?
He appears to be a little bit bigger or a little bit taller than Mina Kimes.
He's at least 2 inches taller than her. He's not 5'9". He's not Kyler Murray sized. Kyler Murray fits in most overhead stores.
I feel like he just shrinks every time. Every time I think about Bryce Young, he shrinks.
He is not as small as Kyler Murray.
Congrats. We're literally doing the shortest.
Not as small as Doug Flutie.
We're doing the shortest inward competition right now.
713-780-3776 to call in. To text it as well. N. Fuentes Respecter asks, how do you know how tall Mina Kimes is? I literally looked that up as soon as I saw that picture.
I like that her profile's on.
Dude, you want to see
Online.
something that's creepy, Sean? And I'm glad you brought that up. Something that's really creepy that I see online. People track the measurements of women, and it's so weird. Like, oh, what's her bust size? Like, what a weirdo. Oh, what's her hip size? Like, and like actually memorize those numbers. Like, you're weird, dude. Like,
Oh, never mind. I don't want to derail the show. Let's go to break.